Alright, so hopefully this will be just a quick tutorial on how to set up an auto splitter for Banjo-Kazooie to split on loading zones. This would also work for other games, just like splitting on a loading zone. So first off, we got some splits here. These were made by Thunderful a while ago, over a year ago. And so if you don't have splits yet, these are probably the best ones to use. You can download them here, or you can actually just copy the link and then open from URL. That also works. But once you have that in LiveSplit, you also want to make sure you edit your layout and make sure that you got subsplits instead of just splits. So if you have splits, you want to go here to list and do subsplits, get rid of your splits. So that makes it look a lot cleaner. So next we want to go to the auto splitter. If you don't have it already, this is Tofu's auto splitter. It works pretty well, so just download the most recent version, extract it into a folder, and I already have some stuff set up. I'll get rid of it for the tutorial though. So this is what it'll come with. It'll just be auto split and icon. You start it, it'll make a settings folder. You also want to make a split image folder, so just browse for split image, new folder, images I guess, and then select that. And now what we want, I don't have my capture card going, I'm just using a video of gameplay as a substitute, but it should work just fine. You can also read up on the main page. There's a tutorial here that goes into depth on a lot of the options. It's very good. But anyway, for the purposes of this video, I'll just quickly go into some of this. So comparison method should be L2 norm. These are just optional. You can choose in yes or no. The thresholds. So it's generally for Banjo-Kazooie 0.99 is good. 1 doesn't work for me for some reason. And then lower than that is kind of pointless since you're just using a black screen. Pause time, anywhere from 2 to 3. 2.5 is pretty good. It won't work for every single loading zone. For example, there's some that are too short and some that are too long. So just like find one that works. If you really want to, you can use custom pause times and custom thresholds, and then make a split image for every single, like all 200-ish loading zones. And I actually did that for the reverse RBA route, but it took a while, and this is just sort of a starting up method of getting this working really quick. So next what we want to do is select region, and so I have an OBS window here just as an example. It's capturing this video, but basically this is your game feed. And what you want to do is select region and just select your game feed in OBS, because that's the only place that it's going to be on your computer, probably. Unless you're using like Amarek or something, you could use that too. But OBS should work. By the way, this doesn't work on Streamlabs OBS, or at least it didn't for me, and I've seen that it's a problem for other people too. So if you try and capture it and it just shows up black, that is a known issue. I don't know why it happens. Should work on regular OBS though. So now what we want to do is we want to get a black screen. So play the game, get to a black screen. Here we go, and then just take a screenshot. Here's our screenshot. You can also not live capture the region. All of these settings will, like if you uncheck them, it'll reduce the load on your CPU. So now that we have the split image, we can go back into the images folder we made. There it is. And now what we want to do, you can see this in the main page. There's these custom split image settings. So what we want is an image loop, and you just place the number of times you want the image to loop in between these @ symbols. So let's just go in here and type @220 @. Now in Banjo-Kazooie 100%, there's approximately 200 loading zones, give or take like 10. I've never seen more than, I think these splits that Funderville has 205. My splits for reverse RBA had like 195, no FFM had like 193. So 220 is well above. You just want to make sure it's more. And that should work. Or you can just have one and use loop split images, and it'll just loop back to the one image over and over. Either way, this should work. So once you have that, another thing, go here. You probably want global hotkeys on. If you know your own global hotkeys situation, then that's fine, but you want to make sure that live split is the active window, or at least that hotkeys work all the time, because the auto splitter will be using them. And then take a look at all your keys and go here and set them. So start is space for me, reset, enter, skip is right, undo is left. And now we're ready. I think we're ready. So let's try it out. So since it knows space is the start, I'll start this video and I'll try and press space when it starts. And there you go, there's the first split, second split on the second one. And you can see the pause time is basically just how long it waits after it sees a black screen to split again. And you can see it's capturing a region. If I stop live capture, it'll stop showing here, but it's still capturing a region. And so then if I, skip to the next loading zone at the end of Spiral Mountain, make sure live split's on there. And there's another. And I guess I have global hotkeys on, so it, when I was skipping through the video, it skipped a bunch of splits, but... And also, like, that loading zone right there, the enter parentheses layer loading zone, had a couple of splits. The pause time might need to be higher on that one. But anyway, that's just a quick start. Hopefully it works for you. There's a couple of other things. So, oops, I'm just gonna reset, and it will work with your reset key. I'm just gonna stop that. And so there's a couple of other things, other small things. If you have a dynamic route at some point, for example, there's a dynamic route in Gobi's Valley, depending on whether you get the cactus ring, and you want to take that into account and not mess up your splits there, you can use the dummy split. So this is the key, or the just D in brackets for dummy split. And so as an example of what you would do there, you could say split image, repeat for 110 times. Let's say you want to count out the number of splits before Gobi's Valley. So let's say it's 110. Copy it. Split image 2 would be repeated for the number of loading zones in Gobi's Valley. So let's say it's 9 or something. And just put a D in there. And then it'll basically it'll recognize the black screens, but it won't actually split. And then you can just have another split here. for the rest of the run. And it'll do these in order, and that'll skip all the splits and gobies so that you don't like mess up your splits if it's dynamic and you don't want your golds to be all screwed up. So anyway, hope that helps.